Welcome to the series of learning sessions with Universe Professional Training. The topic is why projects fail. What is a successful project? Let's quickly talk about that. Very simple. You have started a project and defined a scope, all scope items completed. You have not implemented any out of scope item. Projects delivered the desired results. The project remained in budget and you have delivered on time, within budget, completed with optimum quality. You completed all the document and close the project. Very simple to say. But still the projects fail. Either they are not delivered on time, the budget has exceeded, it has not met the desired objective of for the business. Now, what should be done? An absolute must before we undertake or start any project. We need to define the requirements. First of all, we need to understand what the business requirements are and then write them with absolute clarity. Get a charter signed off. Now, what is a project charter? It could be just a one pager or maybe a very detailed set of requirements outlined what you have acquired or discussed with the business. Write them down with absolute clarity and get it signed off. Your scope is dependent on that charter. So once the charter is signed off, write the scope with details as to what is in scope and what is out of scope. Get it signed off by the business. Planning is the key. Plan, and replan. And remember, you cannot and you should not do the planning in isolation by yourself. The project team do the planning with you. You are just administering and making sure that whatever plan is built, it is remaining inside the project boundaries, project scope boundaries. You should not be adding any item or any task in the project that is not part of the scope item. Do the risk mitigation or the risk planning as part of your initial plan. A, an effective communication plan is an absolute must for success of your project. It cannot be just building a report and providing it to the management. Look, I have achieved this much. No, that is not communication. An effective communication is in all directions, upward, downward to your resources, sideways, meaning to the managers of your resources. And very important thing is build a monitoring plan, how you are going to monitor every task and timeline for the project. What are the common mistakes that project managers do? They don't write, or first of all, they don't get the requirements from the business with absolute clarity. They are loose, vague, open-ended, and they are not written in and by the project manager. That's the beginning of the problem. So arrest it right there. Write a good requirement plan and capture it as part of the project scope. The second issue or the mistake is lack of planning for time, budget, and the risk. Either it is too ambitious or it is missing the important task in the work breakdown structure. The risks are typically or at times they are not discussed in detail, and if even if they are captured, they are not assigned the right priority or the probability. The worst thing that can happen to a project is the ineffective leadership or the poor governance. You have defined the scope, you have built a beautiful plan, but you are unable to deliver it with because of the lack of good governance. Maybe it is because of ineffective monitoring and control tools. So make sure you have the right tools for monitoring the task and the activities planned for in the planning session. You might not, or the project managers, I would say, they fail to assign one single owner per task. Make the ownership belong to one person. Maybe there are five resources who are responsible for executing it, but the prime responsibility should reside with one owner. Assign the right ownership both to the task as well as to the risk. Again, I would like to emphasize about the communication. If it is not efficient, if it is not done uh, efficiently in all directions, that may lead to a project failure. Meet these stakeholders' expectation. Again, part of an effective communication plan. That's, I would say, is all about the reason for a typical project failure. Thanks for listening to the lesson from Universe Professional Training. Thanks.